Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I am Garrett Weinzerl, and joining me today, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here. First week of real game. How'd it go for you?
Like every other, it went a little weird because I forced myself to play Murky this week for our noob hero strategy segment. And more about that later when we get to that. I don't want to blow my Murky load that early.
Sure, let's keep it a surprise.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, game seems pretty much normal. Quick Match is a total cluster, but it's been a total cluster since it hit open beta. Hero League is interesting. Had a game with like a rank 40 or 38 dude this week that it's just like, what's going on? Why am I matched with these people? Like, again, having that problem where I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how much of it is me feeling like every game I lose, I'm losing because I'm being matched with people who aren't up to snuff with me, and how much of it is maybe I'm just not as good as I think.
That's the hard part, isn't it?
It certainly feels like it's because I'm being matched with people that I shouldn't be matched with. So I don't really know what to tell you. All I know is I can look at kills and deaths at the end and be like, this is definitely a disparity here in how well I am doing versus my.
You know, I'm trying hard not to be a bit of a princess at times, but when I check the profile and I see 150 games played to my 1,000 something, I definitely go, ooh, inexperience. And, you know, when I did the Heroes of the Storm, or Heroes of the Dorm, make your own team fantasy league, all I did was look at players and how much game time they had on hot slogs. That's the only thing I decided on, and I got really far in that thing.
Yeah, no, you absolutely did. So it's not a completely insane way to judge the quality of a player. So yeah, I don't know.
There's really only two things I think at the top of the show I need to take care of here. Just need to get the word out. One, please ignore Johanna. Everybody, just let her go, do her thing. She does no damage. Kill everybody else. Second, learn Anubrak's ult so that when you see the flies, you run away. Because people in melee wailing on him while that thing's going off is driving me bonkers.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen a lot of Johanna attacking this week. A lot of focusing on Johanna when the initiate happens. It's just like, why are you doing this? Stop.
The yeah, once she's level 20, the number of people have been like, we got her, and then that shield pops up and things don't go so hot. But I did have a really good week. And
if they take Falling Sword, like, it's just an escape mechanic at that point.
Yeah, when you get up that high in level, she just keeps going. But my quick matches this week were surprisingly balanced. I always had a support, always had a tank for the most part. And Heroes League, it's just its own thing. But, you know, maybe what we really need to do is we need to get all of those deliciously toxic statements and read them calmly over classical music for this show. Because I have been told some just phenomenal things this past week. In fact, one Illidan that I met, I complimented him, and he proceeded to just lose his mind.
Really?
He dove over the wall, started fighting a whole team inside their base, proceeded to explode, but took two guys with him, and I was like, "LOL, nice job!" Like, and I was serious, and he was like, "Oh, no one was there. Everybody's watching. No one follows me." Just completely unloads. Poor guy. I'm playing with a fan too.
Well, that is your fault, sir. Saying "LOL, nice job." I would assume that was sarcasm as well.
I guess. I even said, "No, dude, serious. It was cool." He shut up after that, but still, the mindset was upsetting.
You needed to preface that with more. It's the internet, sir.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's how it works. In case folks are wondering, by the way, why we're doing this at our normal night, when last week we stressed the fact multiple times that we were doing an episode earlier at a different time because we had a guest that we couldn't announce yet. Said guest that we couldn't announce yet had to reschedule. So we're not sure exactly when it's coming on, but probably going to have a guest on in the next few weeks. That's all we can say at the moment.
Super special.
In the future.
We look forward to it, but when it comes, it comes.
Indeed. Scheduling is always crazy. Always very hard. So I like that idea, though, Kyle. Get some classical music together. Make sure you start screen capping this craziness that happens in your games, and and let's have Masterpiece Heroes Theater.
Well, you had a beautiful one today while you were playing Murky, but I guess you're saving that for our Murky section.
Yes, absolutely. I will get into that later. But without further ado, there's a lot to talk about as far as Heroes is concerned this week. Let's get into this week's news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can Stitches play now? Point me to the stage.
Just a reminder, folks, you can go to itncast.reddit.com to talk about everything that we're discussing today or to submit stories for future episodes. This past weekend, we had a sizable Heroes of the Storm stream that actually brought with it a crap ton of new information, and at the end of it left me thinking, why wasn't this the launch event?
You and everybody else, man.
Which is a compliment. That means it was a good event.
Yeah.
It captured my attention. I was very stoked and totally hyped up at the end of it, which was the exact opposite of the launch event. So, yeah, it was called the Mayhem Begins stream. It kicked off with a show match between Cloud9 and UC Berkeley, which is very cool to see. The VODs are all up on YouTube. Go take a look at that. But the big meat of what happened during the stream was the announcement of the Eternal Conflict, which how would you wrap this up, sir? It's like we're getting a bunch of new content to Heroes, and it is all themed around Diablo.
That's pretty awesome. And Diablo has been a while without love. In fact, seeing all this made me play Diablo 3 this past week. I got in there on my Witch Doctor, love the guy, destroyed Asmodan too easily at Torment 5, and I'm waiting for that expansion, whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I thought this was really cool because this wasn't anything that you or I really ever kind of brainstorm. We do a lot of like, wouldn't it be cool if ... on this show, and I don't think we ever really thought that they would have like a couple months of themed rollout content where it all had a cohesive theme to it. And that's exactly what's happening. We're going to be getting multiple heroes and multiple battlegrounds taking place in the Diablo universe.
Yeah, we saw the battleground back at BlizzCon. Was it this past year only?
It was this past BlizzCon is when we saw the concept art for the battleground, which was just awesome as hell. I mean, we saw it. The crowd went nuts when they showed it. Yeah, and well, I'm not sure if you were aware because you didn't come last year. Like
I saw the pictures. In
like
fact,
a total lamer.
Yes, lame. As in, social standing, but as an actual reporting and knowing what was going on at home, you've got thousands of websites to check every second. I probably knew things faster than you guys did on the ground floor.
If you're going to report on BlizzCon, don't go to BlizzCon.
I was already going, hey, oh man, check this out, Twitter.
It's way easier to just stay home, watch the stream.
But there we only saw, a bit of art and a 2-lane map, which is exciting for some people. Some people really like the smaller maps. Didn't look like there was going to be any direct mechanic for the map from that art. And with this, we got to see what it's actually going to be. And it is the Eternal Conflict, the embodiment of good giant angel versus giant fallen angel.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not called the Eternal Conflict. The event is called the Eternal Conflict. The battleground is called the Battlefield of Eternity.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. So this is going to be the new battleground that will hopefully be coming very, 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 very soon. And I'm really looking forward to it, man. The battleground in the game, so not in concept art form, looks great. They put a lot of emphasis into how much effort they put into the art and the assets for this. I mean, they made 2 completely different tile sets, so you had a whole Heaven's Side tile set drawn up and created and implemented, and then you had a whole Hell's Side drawn up, implemented, and whatnot. And it looks great.
I've definitely I've had to mature as a consumer of video games, because when you're little, let's say you walk into the grocery store, someone's bag in there, you have no idea that they're studying for their PhD, working their butt off in the background. You're just thinking, I'm a child. That guy clearly loves plastic bags. It is his life. He goes home, thinks about plastic bags, pursues his career bagging. Now I see like a single load screen of art, and I go, oh man, someone busted their ass for hours to do that. Used to just take it and be like, man, this game lacks content. What's wrong with it? Now I understand. You say 2 different tile sets on one map, and I'm like, oh my god. So they made basically 2 entire maps to make one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks really good. And everything is Diablo themed. Even the what's the word I'm looking for? The mercenaries. The mercenaries Diablo themed.
They're great.
And I will say, I was just a little bit disappointed that the mercenaries are both hell themed on both sides of the map.
Oh,
makes way more sense from a gameplay standpoint. Like, so you don't need to learn all these new mercenaries. Like, oh, on the heaven side they're this, and on the hell side they're all demons from Diablo. Makes sense, easy to learn.
Not only demons, they are Rakanishus. They are the summoners that they have the dogs out in front. You have to kill the summoner in the back to even stop the push, because otherwise they'll just keep rezzing the dogs. I love it.
Right. For those of you who may not have seen this yet, the bruisers in the Battlefield of Eternity are custom. So there's 3 units in the bruiser cluster in the Battlefield of Eternity. 1 is a shaman, and 2 of them are hounds. If you kill the hounds before killing the shaman will just res the hounds, and you will have to keep fighting hounds endlessly.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm also really excited about how that works in a lane when they're unattended, and the creeps kill the hounds, and they just res and just keep pushing. Like, it's...
Oh, yeah, I guess that is what's going to happen.
It's going to be very nice.
Same thing happens with the Spider Queen, though. She's always rezzing up those Nubians.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little different, though, because the Spider Queen has way more hit points than her little lackeys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, they kind of just die eventually if there's AoE effects going off, and I don't really target them. I don't know if you do. Maybe if something's about to go down and I know killing them will stop it, but...
Nah, just take down those things and everything else will fall into place. I'm looking forward to this. We still have Merklord as a talent on a number of heroes that's completely unused. Unless, of course, you're just face rolling the enemy and you go, I'm going to try out a fun button at level 7. I'm hoping that this infinitely rezzing push is actually going to bring that talent into light.
Yeah. I want to see lane, I want to see siege builds become a thing at all, because right now it just feels like talents that should be removed from the game. But we'll see. The other mercs are siege golems, which apparently there are 3 of. They're the Khazra demons. Also looks totally badass. But we haven't talked about the main objective of the freaking battleground, Kyle. You got these 2 massive freaking basically gods. You got an angel dude and a demon dude. They're called immortals. Just battling it out.
Yeah, spoiler alert. What's going on here?
What do you mean spoiler alert?
Oh, we've never seen these guys. I mean,
no. Well, and it was mentioned in the Q&A that they were designed from the ground up on purpose so that it was something kind of new and exciting to see. And,
okay.
I didn't see the question that was posed that yielded that answer, but I'm curious if it was the same thing, same flavor of what you were just suggesting. Like, wait, is there like a Diablo expansion coming down the pipeline and these are immortals? Like, no, I'm sure Blizzard is smart enough not to do something like that.
Sure. Well, and anything you would show could end up being a character inside. I mean, you could have, demon fighting. Oh my, I'm forgetting all my Diablo names. Imperius in there as the big guy, but I'm assuming he's going to become a character eventually. So yeah. Sure, they made up some new ones. I was just curious.
I really want Imperius to become a.
There were all those logs in the death zone that were all about like Lilith and this angel falling in love, and I was like, oh, is it that guy? Is this his big meaty man?
Yeah, I don't think it's anyone important. I think it's just a new thing. But it's cool. There's this circle in the middle, and these 2 immortals are just going at it. And there's 4 circles around the perimeter of this large circle, and these dudes port to, one of the 4 circles each. So they'll always be across from each other, and they're just fighting, and they're doing very little damage to each other. So the whole point is it's forcing team fights, because both teams want to go in. They want to kill the opposing immortal so that their immortal wins, and then will then push whichever lane is the strongest. So it won't always push the same lane. And also this battlefield, or this battleground, is only a 2-lane battleground.
Yeah, and strongest is kind of a misdemeanor. It's actually whichever lane has the most defenses still up that it's going to push. Strongest for the opponent. So actually you cannot do a sort of 4-1 lane haunted mines biz, just push one lane really hard and repeatedly get it with the Immortal.
Gotcha.
Which is nice to know.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
a big fan of that.
Yeah, I like that it's different. Like, it's not always the same lane. I was really interested to see that it was a 2-lane battleground because it looks massive at first glance.
Well, that area in the middle, there's no bushes. There's lots of walls. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for choke points and for people to hide behind and maybe get a gank on. But not too many bushes. No real smoke pipes throughout that whole middle area, which is really huge. And, my last sort of comment on it, it's odd seeing Diablo textures made for a rated teen game.
That never even crossed my mind.
There is a severe lack of people on spikes, piles of bodies, mutilated things pinned to walls.
That never even once crossed my mind.
It's one of my favorite things about Diablo is the fact that they can push that envelope and just go, yeah, whatever, he killed the person and painted it with their blood. Why not?
If I can I get a little nerdy on you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I go a little deep in
why are we here?
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like, and this is possibly opening up a can of many emails being sent, but I feel like in Diablo you never see that level of carnage on a non-underground tile set. You only ever see impaled bodies, pulsating blood boils in the ground, and that kind of shit when you're either in a hell rift or going down into the layers of the crater or in the dungeon areas of Act 1. But anytime you're above ground, it looks more just like a little, I don't want to use generic, but more like open, just normal war zone, not so much a torture pit.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. You do have some trees with bodies hanging off them, swinging. When Hell got taken over, it was actually a rather tame affair, wasn't it? Other than some poor angels stuck on pipes and stuff. But, they weren't really full of blood and bones and all that.
They're full of light, Kyle.
Exactly. I saved you. Drop your loot now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, spam in chat room. We do read chat. We're just not going to stop the show in our tracks because you're trying to be funny.
Like you just did.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This Battleground is looking like it's kind of delivering on everything I was hoping it would.
Yeah.
I did a really good job bringing the Diablo look and feel into Heroes of the Storm and not making it look too different. Like, it still looks like Heroes of the Storm, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. They had to standardize that art, and they did a good job adapting it. And I don't look forward to the Immortals switching sides so that mine is on the enemy side, and you have to be completely exposed to get that thing. That's going to be a real bitch.
Yeah. Yes, it is, Kyle. So yeah, any other closing thoughts on Battlefield of Eternity?
Bring it. I've heard June 30th.
I have too. With PTR the week before.
Exactly.
Which is exciting news. We're getting the PTR for Heroes of the Storm.
Cool. Bring it. Game's live, so we got to have somewhere chaotic to try these things out.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I have a feeling, Kyle, 1 week PTR isn't necessarily going to be a foolproof testing phase to make sure that nothing gets through to the live game that might be a little broken.
No, but it might limit those people who want to try everything new the day of purchases. Actually, I guess it's kind of bad for their money, perhaps, in that way. But, that first week you're having to deal with nothing but Jaina's because Jaina came out in your Hero League.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I never even considered that effect. That's a really good point. Yeah, because we could just get into PTR in theory and just try out the new hero.
Yeah.
Which now I'm all excited. Now I'm totally going to try the PTR. I generally ignore the PTR 100% for every other Blizzard game. But yeah, public test realm chat room is what PTR stands for.
Sure, but we're not playing through a story here. So there's no spoilers around.
Right, exactly. And same thing like in WoW, I don't want to ruin a raid that I'm going to see a million times for the next 3 months.
Oh, exactly.
3 months is being generous. Holy crap, release something new for World of Warcraft, please.
You and everybody else, man, but it sounds like the flying thing went okay with the video they did, so congratulations, everyone. You did it, possibly.
I'm just sitting here going, I don't care about flying, I want content.
Agreed.
I don't care either way. If they keep it gone, I'll live with it. If they bring it back, cool. My dragons don't look stupid on the ground. I want some new content. Anyways, moving on to the new hero, the Butcher Kyle, is here. If you were sad because there aren't enough gross things on that Diablo tile set, well, here is one giant gross thing just walking around.
He is big. And an assassin.
Yeah, which is cool, because I remember way back when we were talking about heroes we'd like to see and heroes that seem obvious, the Butcher came up, and we're like, well, how would you really differentiate him from Stitches? Why don't you just make the Butcher a Stitches skin?
Right.
And, well, here we go. He seems to be this just unkillable killing machine.
Certainly taking a couple of cues from other MOBAs to build his kit. But a very cool idea for him. He's going to be highly aggressive, stay in the fight, kind of more of a Thrall mixed with an Illidan, at least for survivability. If you're playing Illidan, you'll probably be pretty good at the Butcher. And actually, if you want to practice, get on those heroes like Diablo that have to actually collect things, which is real cool if you think that that's too... I guess if you talent Nazebo to collect... deaths to increase his mana pool, that's actually 3 Diablo heroes that have collect mechanics, which is pretty creative.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
like
the loot collecting game, it's what you should do.
It makes sense. I mean, you also have Gazlo, you have to collect parts, but...
Sure. Still waiting on that Master Blaster Freak Diablo Gazlo skin, though.
You want a Diablo Gazlo skin so bad, I know.
Every day.
Oh, in the key art for Eternal Conflict. Have you seen Angelic Diablo?
He looks badass. He's huge.
Looks insane.
Oh my god! I thought at first he was just like a golden golem that was going to be the boss or something.
Me too. And you were the one. You were like, and I was looking. I'm like, maybe that's Diablo. I don't know. I don't know if they would ever do that. And you're just like, dude, it's totally Diablo.
It's the horn that gives it away.
Yeah.
The blue crystal. My favorite thought about this entire thing is that it completely changes the lore. In Diablo 1, there was actually a really awful man who went up into heaven to kill good Diablo. In order to contain him, he had to insert it into his forehead. Then, against his will in Diablo 2, he walked into an inn and started doing good deeds for everybody. Free drinks on the house, little demons started coming out of little, sparkler holes in the ground and cleaning everybody's dishes and stuff.
Oh my, please write the extended universe fan fiction of what would happen with an angelic Diablo.
The alternative history, and then West, always West.
And Dagger Kane just sitting there, Diablo is one of the finest young men I have ever had the pleasure of washing my windows.
Watching all the brothers meet up, the sanest thing that poor little hobo ever saw.
Oh, that's so good. Back to the Butcher. The show match that they picked for showing the Butcher was a little it seems a little too handpicked.
It was. You can imagine that these guys sat down and said, we're going to play 5 games today, and we'll pick the best one that had the Butcher in it. And they even let slip, I believe it was Cloaken, that they picked a bad comp against the Butcher.
Ah, well, there you go.
To kind of show them off. We ended up seeing...
I don't think that was really a slip. I mean, it's fine. They're being honest, being like, hey, there's comps that are good and bad against this Butcher, and this is a bad one.
Exactly. So we ended up seeing 2 maps with the Butcher on it. One was just a show match taking place on Tomb of the Spider Queen, wasn't? And then we had him actually show up on the play test of the new Diablo map.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And that's the second one where he played on the Battlefield of Eternity. That one didn't go so well for the Butcher.
No,
actually got to see the Butcher die. Which was cool.
He didn't quite work out there. But hey, his passive, fresh meat. Could it be anything else?
Yeah. So you made some notes about talent changes to come, and I didn't pick up on any of this. How'd you know? How'd you see this stuff?
This came to us from Reddit, and it looks like a number of people got to try out the Butcher while they were there at the event, as well as I think they had a build available for play at the Korean launch event, which Korea's server continues to leak out weird things. They saw Johanna early in a PC bang. They're getting all sorts of weird glimpses. Maybe there's glitches over there, who knows. But it looks like the upcoming build is going to have a removed sprint from Jaina, perhaps, as well as Brightwing's Gust of Healing removed, which is your level 7 talent you really use for burst healing.
Oh, okay. Huh. I mean, I prefer that's the one that you activate. I prefer the one that happens on every ability use anyway.
Right, which is the second highest pick, but currently Gust of Healing is the highest percentile pick among the talents at level 7 for Brightwing.
Gotcha.
So at least in this build that they had there, they were just Xing it. And same goes for Jaina. Sprint, of course, one of your highest survivability talents that you can take as Jaina. Just gonna X that.
I mean, I suspect that if this is coming, if this patch is coming as soon as the 30th, that we're gonna see a preview of a patch to come very soon.
Yep.
And I would be surprised if these are the only changes.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, Nubarak sitting at a 60% win rate at the moment, which is pretty absurd. I don't want to see him nerfed. I love the guy. And I hope it's just kind of an issue with the Plague of Locusts, like I talked about earlier in the show, that people just need to learn to get out of the way a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some beetle damage reduced.
Yeah. I am going to take a sidebar real quick and bring the show to a grinding halt thanks to chat room, because I just have to congratulate Azax in the chat room who said, guys, I just got a double kill on Abathur by top hatting a minion. Congratulations.
Nice.
That is actually totally badass. And while we're at a full stop, I will mention, because I noticed my camera jumping around a bit, I am having severe issues with my internet service provider, and it should be fixed next week. But Kyle is running the stream right now because my upload is so bad. It is so like Stone Age speed at the moment that I cannot run a stream. So if the volume is a little off on the video version, or I'm a little stuttery, that's why. But it should be fixed very soon.
We're making do.
I have spent at least 8 hours on the phone with Verizon over the past week. It is starting to get a little old, but they're sending a tech out. Should be fixed next week. Huzzah!
The mysteries of internet.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Eternal Conflict, at least the beginning of it. New Battleground, Battlefield Eternity, new hero, the Butcher, should be coming at the end of this month. And if you look at the key art for the Eternal Conflict, it looks like more is coming. I mean, Skeleton King is right there, front and center.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting to see Leoric as probably the next hero.
I hopefully really want to see him. I'm hoping he's an assassin as well. Could be a tank.
Yeah. I'm trying to not to nerd out over the key art too much, because the show is mostly digested in audio only format. But
it's all right. That Murky's badass down there, isn't he?
I love they used the skin tints and the skins that made them look the most hellish or angelic.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that actually exists in the game, a lot of which is in the game right now. I just love all those little touches. I'm just like, yeah, no, you can totally get that color variation for Terran Murky.
Well, now we know Tassadar versus Demon Tyrael. This is lore. That's how it's going to go down in the Internal Conflict. You notice they removed the dopey eyes from the Demon Tyrael there? I hope that's a sign of things to come.
Ooh.
Because those eyes in the hood, like, nah, let's just do the hood.
I like to think that the artist that painted it is in your boat and doesn't like the eyes on Tyrael. And he's like, well, I'm just going to leave him out because it looks sort of like badass.
Like he had him in.
The guys down at who are making these models will notice and put a little hot fix in.
Everyone's like, Dustin Browder, check out there. He's like, looks good. And the guy just erases the eyes real quick, uploads it.
Yeah, just layer off. Cool.
Ready to go. Well, are you excited for the Butcher? Is that a character you get into?
No, actually, not really. Doesn't seem like I've never been huge in the melee assassins. I mean, I really do like Thrall. He kind of surprised me. I won't really know until I try him, though. I will tell you that, like, flavor wise, just gut reaction, Butcher's not really my jam. I'm way more excited about the Skeleton King. But you know me. I don't want to be like the big dude with a gut with some,
Yeah, you like to be pretty.
utensils.
You're a blood elf after all.
I want to be a warrior, man, and agile. Like we always, you have that age-old discussion as a kid. Like, if you didn't have any power, what would you have? I always wanted like hyper agility. I always thought like flipping around like Spider-Man or Legolas, just one of the coolest things.
For me, I can have any power I want. If I don't have a super suit to summon, I'm out, because that's what it's all about. It's about striking those sweet poses, twisting the medallion on your belt, and plus then sparks fly out instead of your blood, which I've always found very comforting.
Yeah, I always come back to Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, man. I love just like that whole, like that's superpowers I want. I want to be able to like wall run and backflip and
steal a kiss, and reverse
what was
time.
That? Steal a kiss. I find the phrase "steal a kiss" to be one of the most horrifying phrases in the world. It offends me on many different levels.
Well, it's interesting to see his ruthless onslaught, which really reminds me of Spirit Breaker from Dota 2. But it looks like it has a really short range, so I guess that makes it rather unique rather than the hunt like Illidan from across the map. You can dive on someone. I just see a lot going wrong in the future, man. People hitting that Ruthless Onslaught, Sylvanas teleporting backwards. They keep going right past the first fort, to the second fort, into the core, they're dead.
Well, I'm assuming walls stop this, right?
I hope so. I hope teleports, I hope murky bubbles, everything stops it, breaks them out of it before they make a big mistake.
Yeah, that's. They didn't mention something. I think they were talking about. I'm afraid to quote this because I'm not sure exactly. I know it was mentioned at some point, talking about some type of invulnerability move breaks it while they're invulnerable, but it picks back up once they reappear.
Yes, you were thinking of Lamb for the Slaughter, which is his second ultimate. You lay down an area circle that locks a single hero in that circle to a chain to the center, and basically, if you don't run out of the circle of chains, nothing really ever bad happens to you. But if you try to walk outside of it, you're constantly pulled back, same as Johanna's suck, so it is sort of a momentary stun that's going to interrupt anything you're up to.
Do we have to call it a suck?
Well, it is. It's a vacuum, She actually...
Vacuum.
A pull.
Much
Excuse
better.
me. A pull is better.
Vacuum, pull, calling it by its name, condemn. All of that's better than calling it Johanna's suck.
Vortex, if you will.
There you go.
But yes, if you use even a Tassadar phase shift or a murky bubble to get outside of that, and Lamb for the Slaughter still going, you will be pulled all the way back in once it's over.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Good to know.
His other ult is Furnace Blast, which is a 3-second delay, then you explode around you. Who's going to stand in that long enough? Probably no one, but it's usable during Ruthless Onslaught. Can you imagine people locking on their target, charging across the map? You say, I'm going to be there in about 3 seconds. Activate the thing. The second you get there, you explode.
Yeah, that's the thing that got me probably the most excited. This is the reason I'm going to definitely try the Butcher, regardless of what my gut reaction is from a flavor aspect. Like that looks cool, and that's going to be like the sign of a badass Butcher, like at least on day one. Is like, can you Ruthless Onslaught and time your Furnace Blast correctly? All right, cool, let's do this.
I look forward to it. Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
I'm constantly theory crafting in this house. Kristen is losing her mind about him.
Oh, is she's big.
She's like,
yeah.
We both want to be the hideous monsters, as ugly as possible.
There was obviously a lot of Q&A with the press during this whole event, much of which you can go see at all the fan sites. Heroes Nexus and Heroes Fire have a lot of these kind of rounded up, but we wanted to talk about some of the highlights. They did say that there has been a large influx of new players with the open beta and their release, stating that a lot of players do like to wait for the quote-unquote final game, which is just something I don't understand. I'm not one of those people.
We just spent some time talking about, not playing PTRs, so multiplayer games doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I guess, it's more these kind of games.
Yeah.
If it's a story-based game, I don't want to play in the beta. I don't want to play on the public test servers. I don't want to ruin it for myself. But like a competitive, just PvP game, yeah, get me in, man. I just want to log as many games as early on as possible.
Exactly. Get real good before the riffraff shows up.
Yeah. Blizzard
welcome, new listeners in riffraff.
Blizzard also said that now that they have 7 maps, they feel it's time to revisit their original franchise's world, hence the Diablo-themed event. Hell yeah. Do you think they specifically stayed away from doing Warcraft as their first themed event?
That's an interesting question, isn't it? Diablo's like the one place that you can do anything with, and no one's gonna really cry about. There are hardcore Diablo farmers that, of course, want more content. But if you release Warcraft content in a separate game, maybe it's just fodder for the forums. They decide to skip
Well,
it.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking about how every time a new hero comes out that's a Warcraft hero, the forums blow up. Like, why wasn't it the other IPs?
Yeah. Well, we have a pretty obvious, outlet for upcoming StarCraft content, Legacy of the Void. And if they say this is their first one, I'm excited for whatever that StarCraft map is they've hinted at, and whatever heroes are coming with it.
Yeah, sad thing is I feel like it's gonna be a while before we see that.
It does. Isn't that weird? Our past two StarCraft expansion, well, the actual release and the first expansion came really hot on the heels of the beta, but this one doesn't seem like it's moving quite as fast.
Yeah, I meant I think it's gonna be a while before we see any StarCraft stuff in Heroes of the Storm, any new StarCraft stuff.
Yeah.
Dustin Brother's comments that we mentioned last week being number one reason why I'm concerned about that.
Sure.
As far as comments on Hero League, they said that they've got a lot of feedback to sort heroes by role in Hero League. It is very much on their wish list. And also, they just wanted everyone to know that they will probably never reveal your MMR in the game. They don't think that it means that much, that they feel that it's an arbitrary number. They would rather just have their ranking system represent that, which I would argue is also just an arbitrary number. But
sure, it gives enough of an illusion that you can both be really, really good and get to one, or you can have the time on your hands to get to one.
Right. It's more gamified.
Yeah. I get that. I'm just used to other MOBAs where it's just, that's your number. Sure, those numbers are extremely inflammatory. We can head over to hotslogs.com and look at our own numbers and wonder the mysteries of how those are put together. It's just your wins and losses, so there's not much that gets revealed by it.
Yeah. On the subject of Battlegrounds, they said that rotating Battlegrounds out of the map pool may be a thing in the future when they have more Battlegrounds, and that if everyone greatly dislikes a map, they may just remove the Battleground entirely, which is exciting to hear. I mean, it's something we see in StarCraft all the time.
Yeah. But we don't have the map editor yet, so sadly those advancements aren't going to be sped along by tournaments putting together their more balanced versions for their game.
Right. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the dates right here that I wasn't even sure about. Yeah, the Battlefield of Eternity public test realm will start on June 23rd, and then hopefully the launch will be a week later on June 30th. Hopefully. Oh man, I hope so. Can't get here soon enough. They said that they're not planning on letting us blacklist Battlegrounds. It's not on the docket whatsoever at the moment.
Bummer.
Yeah. It only causes more issues with queues.
Sure, lengthens them out.
Yeah. The map editor, they said, is something that they really want to do since the genre was born from it, but they're not actively working on it. Quote, but they'll get there.
Eventually.
This seems like the map store from StarCraft 2. That thing that sounded so awesome from the beginning, and then we'd never heard another thing about it.
Blizzard likes to overpromise in all their departments, but...
Yeah.
I love their
Where's
gumption.
the dance studio, man? Where's that dance studio?
Yeah, and do you really want to fight in the air? That sounds awful. No thanks.
No, there was enough vehicle combat already in Wrath of the Lich King that I didn't like. On the user interface, they did say that the buff and debuff tracking was an old and incomplete UI element, but they will be bringing it back once it's improved.
Yeah.
I want this now. I want it yesterday. I missed this so much. I like the old. It worked fine. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it wasn't the most intuitive, but we just learned to love it. I mean, I love being able to see when my focused attack was ready, when bribe stacks were getting up there. Now you have to hover over things.
I can't stand having to hover over bribe to see how many stacks I have.
What gives me a lot of hope is they say they're going to do more hero-specific UIs like Thralls, which is cool because right now it's just they still have the little number counter for Diablo, but I want to see like that well of blood fill up, or just make it cool, make everyone's thing cool. When they did the Moonkin thing back in Cataclysm, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. I feel there's a point where you can go too far though. And then, like, every time you grab a hero, it's just like, what's going on with my UI? You do need to have some level of cohesion between all the heroes.
I'm happy with all the changes they've made with sound, though. We talked about ETC's ult in the past, but it's so great that instead of a 1, 2, 3 over his head or something visual, it's all audio.
It's a cowbell, dude.
Yeah.
You all go tung, tung, tung. It's a freaking cowbell.
Nah, I never thought about that.
It makes me smile so much. Needs more cowbell, man. Needs more cowbell. The death recap is on their long list of to-do things. Here's another thing I really want.
Yeah, really helpful for new players. So a shame this didn't make it in by release.
Yeah. This is something that helped me out immensely when I first started playing Dota 2. Being able to, and for those of you who are unfamiliar, it's when you die, it'll show you what killed you, and it'll show you multiple things that led to your death, at least in Dota 2.
Yeah, the order at things came in and then who got the final hit. If you're dying right now, though, the best thing you can do is open up tab and take a look at the damages and see who's doing the most damage. Particularly if you've got something like Shrink Ray, you need to keep on top of that because there's no other way to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. On as far as heroes and skins are concerned, they said that gifting skins and heroes to friends is something that they really want to add to the game, but it's going to take a focused effort. And also they are going to have to take into account the technical difficulties and potential fraud situations if they allow this, if they implement the system.
I get the fraud from a gold perspective.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you would...
Because you get a lot of gold really fast when you first start up an account, so you could make a bogus account, gift yourself over that 10,000 gold that you made relatively quickly getting to 10.
Well, what if you could gift heroes that you got with gold, so then you could just get a bunch of gold on another account and gift it over to your account?
See, that'd be bad, in their opinion, I assume.
So that's how, exactly.
So, but just make it real money purchases, everything's good to go, right?
Yeah. I could see that makes, in my head, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll see. We'll have to see. Also, you got to figure out anytime they add anything like this, it opens up a massive can of worms for potential tickets to customer service. Like, I want to go gift it to this friend, and I accidentally gifted it to this other friend.
I don't think about that.
I don't like him as much.
Yeah, human error. And you might have to take account for that for, like, stocking man hours or something.
Yeah, and I gotta think with like how popular Blizzard games are that is something they are concerned about, or at the very least when they talk about something like this, they get a bunch of internal emails from customer service being like, "Hey, why don't you wait on that?"
Fair enough.
It's plugging on all these refunds from the last mount we put up for sale. No, I found that kind of stuff very interesting. But they're talking about some bundle improvements. They said they're not sure if they want to give a discount, credit, or keys for previously owned heroes, but they definitely want to incentivize people to purchase bundles. I think they should just give you a damn discount. Like, I don't understand why it's that hard.
Yeah, keys are just going to be wacky.
Of all the math that is happening in this game, that should be the simplest.
You would think just kind of Xing out those prices and then giving you the full bundle, but maybe they don't want me paying 50 cents just to get an armored horse.
But why not if I already paid full price for the other heroes or spent a bunch of time in their game to get gold? I don't know.
The mysteries of business. Who knows? It could be tech.
Yeah. Old school Diablo and StarCraft character skins was brought up. They said that they really want to add in these iconic characters, but apparently it's much harder to do artistically because your Diablo 1s of the world and your Warcraft 1s of the world and your StarCraft 1s of the world were super simple from a visual aspect. So it's not like you can just port over a sprite. I mean, I think the Lost Vikings are a wonderful example of making this work.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of inspiration to pull from those pixels. And they did a good job.
Yeah. And I mean, I can honestly, it should be a cheap skin. Just give me Raynor with a shaved head and change his emotes to a bunch of stuff from the original StarCraft and Brood War.
Right, and give him the unibrow.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. He did have unibrow.
I missed that unibrow.
He's the same voice actor. Still Rob Clotworthy.
Yeah.
And we heard that apparently he had to fight to get back on StarCraft 2. But yeah, that wouldn't be easy. Like, charge me $1 and I'll buy shaved head Raynor with StarCraft 1 emotes. Be great.
Well, it wouldn't be $1. We learned from the Arthas fiasco of the helmet that that's not how it would work out. But anyway,
I want that skin back so bad.
I guess we had we have High Templar nowadays, so Tassadar wasn't that hard because they just kind of updated him.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just. I think maybe it's like going back to characters that aren't already in the game, like Admiral Duke from StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
Like all you have to go off of is this very poor representation of a dude's face in a sprite form.
Oh yeah, blue hair, looks like he's dying. It just what a hideous looking character. But hey, I love him. I still want my Sergeant Hammer skin.
That's a really good point. Yeah, we'll have to find out. And of course, they also discussed player toxicity. Really, the big thing that was mentioned that piqued my interest is that they are discussing a system internally where players will be able to rate other players. To which I say, why is this being discussed? It should be a thing.
I actually learned this past week that League of Legends ran a quick bout of reporting for unskilled players, and then you would actually be the one who get demoted if you reported someone for that.
Really?
Yeah, so they had a setting. You could report someone for being a noob. And your, rating, your happy goodness points would decrease if you actually reported someone for being noobish.
Okay. I feel like the problem with that, though, is once the first person figures out that that's what's happening, then that system no longer works.
Well, this was in the past. They let it run for a bit. Nowadays, we know what it was.
Right. You just need a commend and a report.
Yeah.
It shouldn't only be punishing those for doing wrong. You should be rewarding those who are doing right.
It's true. And even if it's just a pop-up star rating, how'd you like this person? Yeah, well, why not? 4 stars.
That will definitely make me think twice of telling the people that make me really mad to get effed. Which I may have done to that Anubarak who went off on my Murky today.
Yeah, well, hey,
He started it, damn it.
AFK Abathurs, right?
Oh, God. If you were listening right now and you're a new player, Abathur is not AFK.
He's very busy.
He's incredibly busy. Cut him some slack. And this is coming from the guy who doesn't like seeing an Abathur on his team. Just cut him some slack. Cut him some slack.
Bert the Man in chat is saying that the tribunal didn't quite work out the way people hoped. But man, sitting on the outside, the League of Legends tribunal, where they sort of tally up your reports against you and then let the community decide if you should be banned or not, is a real cool idea. Whether or not it actually came out well.
I just wish it was. I want it more like Gladiator, man. I think everyone should have to turn on their Skype cameras and put up their thumb like this and put it down or up.
Yeah, or at the very least, like someone gets up there and reads all the names out of the box.
Now I'm thinking of the Council of Robot Elders from Futurama with the monk bits.
Silence.
It's like the dot matrix printer. Oh, it's great.
Sometimes
anyways.
it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We got a cool email in our to our inbox over at itncast@gmail.com from listener Spaz Wesson, who was in attendance to Australia and New Zealand's launch party. He said, hey guys, I attended the Heroes of the Storm launch in Sydney and I took a few photos, so there may be something new for you guys to find. Also, Blizz staff said that they will be going over all heroes and fix up the difficulty of each hero, and the 2 special guests were Alan DeBeery, the technical director of Heroes, and Chris Siggety. Ah, man.
Nice.
Chris Siggety.
Good representation there.
I finally met him this last BlizzCon, very briefly, and I was just like, hi Chris, I see you're surrounded by awesome people. I just want to tell you, your games have just taken over my life. On my way. He could have been a nicer guy. He was just like, dude, thank you.
Can I briefly stand in that circle of awesome people so I too can feel awesome and bask in your wonderful hair?
It's been a long, my first BlizzCon was when I really went around and nerded out on people. But every BlizzCon I miss Chris Siggety, and this dude has worked on so much awesome. I couldn't contain myself, man.
Yeah.
Trying to be a semi-professional podcaster dude just went away. I was just like, I'm sorry, but you're just awesome. Thank you. Moving on. For those of you who don't know who he is, he's the executive producer of the game. Anyway, Spaz Wesson said that they both said that the 2 heroes they want to see in-game are Artanis from StarCraft and Malthael from Diablo. I want Malthael. That seems like it's a given.
Oh, yeah. Just
that.
And doing that all where you basically like pull out two big guns and just go boop, 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 boop in a big circle, and the little clouds floating around with skulls in them. There's so much flavor in there. I want.
So, oh man, I want to go back to. We need to play some Diablo. I'm getting to Diablo itch, man. Need to get back in there and play some.
Join me, man. Join me. Kind of happens at like 2 a.m., but join me.
I need to dust off the barbarian, man. I need to gear up my barbarian.
Okay.
He's been sitting, just meditating on rage and crushing things with his bare hands for too long. Anyway, sorry, Spaz, I keep stopping in the middle of your email to rant. He continued saying that they answered a few questions, and I had a chance to ask them more in depth about the possibility of the female Diablo, where it could be another hero or just a skin. Their answer was that if it was another hero, then it could be too confusing to players that don't know the different versions, so it could be confusing, which leaves me to believe, I guess it'll be a skin at some point.
Yep. And we got sort of confirmation for all around the various launch events that the Diablo female skin is being worked on and will not be a separate character.
And yes, Jay Hammond C, dust off the barbarian is a euphemism.
Ooh.
So, Dustin Browder was interviewed by Forbes, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but he has this one little quote I just wanted everyone to hear, and this was in reference to being asked, why did you design the game that you designed? And he said, quote, we had a lot of people say you shouldn't do that. That's not what people want. People want to be the star. They want to be the best, and they want to show that they're better than everybody else. That's the way the internet works, and that's the way it should be. We got told that many times, and we kind of said, that's not the game I want to make.
That's bold.
That gets me right in the gamer feels.
It does, doesn't it? And it really is an argument about who's right and how right you can be. And you know what? There is something intoxicating about those other MOBAs where you get to be a god for 30 seconds. Well, and 30 minutes if it keeps going forever.
Yeah.
And you don't finish the game during that brief window. But I do miss several things about other MOBAs. The biggest one is certainly the stories you can build with someone else. When you're in a lane 2v2 for half an hour, like that Venomancer shows up and you go, oh, I know you, like I'm gonna kill you first because we spent the whole beginning of the game learning what each other's like. Now it's here. 2 minutes. Did you enjoy the laning phase? It's over. Everybody curse.
Yeah. I'm not sure I miss anything about a 30-minute laning phase.
Fair enough. It's more tradition at this point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I never went into Dota 2 wanting to be the rock star. I always wanted to be. I went into it with the mindset, well, like, what can I do to help the team as a whole? And you're like, well, you go this guy, you build a mech and you heal people, and you can be a mana station. And I'm like, oh, this all sounds awesome. I want to be this dude.
Yep. Yeah.
I was like, I just want to be stealthy and backstabbing people.
In that world, the biggest problem for me is you have to be a nice person to say, it's okay, you stole my kill. Like, we killed them. Everyone died. What does it matter if one hero just happened to get the last hits? But it did. And that's why I play Heroes of the Storm more than those other games.
Yeah. Kyle, you wanted to talk about top picks statistics.
Yes, this came to us by 404 Cliche on our Reddit over at ITNcast. Found a really cool build set going up on Heroes Fire right now. A guy has taken it's Nudie, and he's taken all the builds that are most popular on Hotslogs by doing their research, by going to the website, clicking on a hero. You can see what % a certain ability is picked at what level, and he's basically made all the builds for all the heroes out of these. So if you want exactly what is the most popular thing in the world, check out this in the show notes. Check it out over on Heroes Fire. It's pretty cool to see the consensus that has been made across the internet.
Yeah, this is super cool. It's a little soulless, like it's a little cold and calculated and mathy, but I think it's super cool. And the fact that there's a build here for every damn hero in the game, and if you, it's even noted here that it's been updated with Johanna. So again, it's over on heroesfire.com. The author's name is spelled Newti, Nudie. If you search for him, you look for Hotslogs Hero League builds with highest win % at master level. That's what we're talking about. And there's this drop down. You got to look for this tiny little drop down button, and you can go through all the different heroes.
Chances are you won't be surprised by these. They're probably the things you're picking anyway. But optimization does eke out that little bit of victory, particularly in the higher leagues. So check these out if you're struggling a bit for a build.
Yep. I like this a lot. Check it out. We got a link in the show notes over at amovie.tv/ITN. Look for the episode 54 post. It'll be a link at the bottom. Also, you can find our mini news over there, where you can find a handy cheat sheet for each battleground. You can read about Time Warner cable users having latency problems in Heroes of the Storm, and IGN's stupid review.
It is what it is, man. They got their top Dota guy to review a different MOBA, and guess what? He still loves Dota. So let's move on with our lives.
Yeah. I love Dota. I still think it's one of the best esports out there. I mean, not better than StarCraft 2 or Hearthstone, but
well, sure, absolutely.
Hearthstone's a completely different animal. It's like saying, like, oh, I'd rather watch Magic over Dota. It's like, two games are literally nothing alike. Do you like cake or do you like broccoli? It's just no. What?
Well, what day is it? And you're like, oh my god, just answer the hypothetical. We're watching a movie. We're trying to have fun here, and someone's got to pull the like. You're like, do you think she's hot? And they're like, well, what's her personality? I'm like, well, damn it, man, we're just having fun. Like, no one argues that we all love a good personality.
It's very good point to bring up there, Kyle. Before we move into strategy this week, I do want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN for supporting Into the Nexus. If you enjoy what we do, if you think we're giving you some value to your life and you want to give us a little value back, you can head on over to the Patreon. You can donate $1, you can donate $5, however much you want to subscribe to the show. It's once a month. It's not per episode. Go check it out. We got 134 of you now subscribing to the show together, supporting us for over $700 a month. Means the world to us. Thank you so much. This week, thank you to Corey M, Sean R, and Adam B. Thanks for being patrons of Into the Nexus, and hopefully we'll see you in the after show game. Now, Kyle, let's talk some. I'm not sure if it's strategy because we're not quite sure what we're doing with these heroes yet, but that's the point.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ha, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
Welcome to Strategies, where it's week 4 of Heroes We're Noobs With. This is where Kyle and I each pick a hero we have never played before, play them, and report to you guys to hopefully connect with the common man.
Descend from on high on the heroes that we've been playing over and over again and try out something new.
Like, that's the thing. Like, we never claim to be like the best players in the world. We're not that good. We just play a lot and we're tryhards.
Yeah.
We are the everyman who's just really into heroes. So this week, I promise, guys, because I believe this is the last week we're doing this. We promised 4 weeks of noob heroes, and I promised last week I would do Murky. So I've done it, folks. I spent 10,000 hard-earned gold.
Ooh.
I picked up a hero I usually have nothing but bad things to say about. And I really like playing Murky.
He's fun.
I am so surprised by how much fun I've had with Murky. Now I've been going like a Siege build, so I'm playing him like Siege, and it's completely unlike how I play every other hero in this game.
So you play a lot as Zagara, and there's those magical games where people just leave you alone for whatever reason, and you get to just destroy an entire lane by yourself. It feels great. So is that basically what Murky feels like when you're, rolling 2 levels up?
Yeah, it's just throwing pufferfish everywhere, and things just shit's blowing up. It's like a Michael Bay movie that has like a Teletubby in it. I don't know. It's weird.
Paid for by the Fish Corporation. They're just flying everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really enjoy Murky. I sat down with Dream Destroyer, aka your wife, Kristen.
She plays a lot of Murky.
She does play a lot of Murky, and I was just like, well, school me. And she's like, well, let's do a pufferfish build, and we'll go from there. I have the link to the build in the show notes. I just really like it, man. And she did some great explaining. She was talking about at level 4, she usually takes Living the Dream, where you get a passive ability power that stacks for every 5 seconds that you're alive. And then she's a great teacher because she goes, now, if you are dying a lot, which can happen, and she even said, this happens to me, play a lot of Murky. If there's just like a Nova or a Zeratul, you're probably going to die a lot. Maybe don't take Living the Dream. She prefers tougher fish in that scenario. so your pufferfish lives a little more. And she made a good point too on just the heroics, how she kind of picks a different heroic. She doesn't go into a game knowing she's going to do March of the Murlocs or Octograb, where she said, hey, go Octograb if your team is depending on you a little bit in team fights, but if you're just off on your own, march it up, all the Murlocs.
March messes stuff up real bad, and in some like area denial games, they can't get close. It's just too slow and it's too much damage. They can't walk through it, and sometimes you eke out a victory because of that. My problem with Octograb and seeing other Murky players use it is I instantly have expectations, because I've seen really good Murkies who throw down their pufferfish and then trap someone with Octograb on top of it, and that damage is absurd.
It's actually not crazy hard to get that off if you take compressed air, where it increases the radius of your pufferfish by 50%. Because you don't need to be so like, if you don't take that, it's kind of crazy hard to land that combination. But
increases
it's
the area by 50%. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, you really don't need to worry about where you throw it. Like, if it's in the general vicinity of the person you're octograbbing, you'll be okay.
Oh yeah, and I see. Yeah, you got the level 13 pufferfish does slime, so they're slowed, so even more of a chance to get them stuck in it.
Yeah. And chat room, in case you're wondering, I promise I will play Murky in the after show game if I'm not playing against Doribo.
We'll make it happen.
But yeah, I mean, that's really about all I have to say. The only issue I would say I had with Murky is I'm still a little unsure. Like, I'm never sure when I should engage in the team fight, because with this pufferfish build, I don't feel that I'm contributing hardly anything whatsoever.
Fair enough.
I did have one game where we just had no damage. I've been playing nothing but quick match with these new heroes, and quick match comps right now are the most busted thing in the world. I didn't have a single game where I played Murky where the comp made any sense whatsoever. I had one game with 2 warriors, 2 healers, and me. And so I went like, I tried to make a damage build. I went like in Venom.
Oh.
Like, took some slime talons, and I actually was killing some fools. It was kind of cool. But it didn't go well. Wasn't a particularly great experience.
Something I liked that you did was you were very aggressive with your egg from the get-go, and sure, it led to a couple of noob deaths, but ultimately, for the majority of the game, you were always back in the fight really quickly. And that's always sad to see. Just a Murky who's too nervous to put his egg out far enough to engage.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna stick with Murky. I really enjoyed him. I want to learn more how to be a good Murky. Now I just feel like I'm a somewhat competent, like, I'm not a moron, but I'm not picking him in Hero League anytime soon.
I appreciate that. Leave it to the experts, but
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you have those games where the other 4 are just gelling, everything's going great, and you get to have your world on a plate as Murky. Yeah,
absolutely. The only other issues I had were toxicity from the team, from my own team. Like, oh my god, the amount of people are just like, Murky, what's wrong with your damage? And I'm just like, all the forts are gone because of me. What the hell? You're literally looking at the wrong column.
Oh, get in these team fights, Murky. Well, I'm by myself bottom lane. I'm getting XP. Forts give XP, right? So I'm winning us this, right?
Yeah. Too many games like that where I was just like, hey, guy, no, it's not the build I'm going. We have plenty of damage. You don't need me. I'm keeping us in this.
I've been saying this for a while. They just need to change the sound effect when he dies, and things will be a lot better.
Yeah, not that that's gonna stop Anubarax from complaining about my hero damage on a siege build.
Oh yeah, Anubarax in your business. Congratulations playing the 60% win rate. Let's see if you stick around. Let's see if you really love him when times are tough. You don't deserve Anubarax if you can't take him on his worst day.
Yeah, exactly. See, yeah, So Kyle, are you hipster Anubarax? It's like, oh, I liked Nubarak before he was cool.
Absolutely, dude. I'm still sitting on Diablo too, being like, yeah.
Oh yeah, now everyone
before all the pros started liking him, I was digging him first. So I'll still love him. I love Nubarak. But this week I actually played Lily. which was new for me. I always like seeing a Lily, even in Heroes League. She has a surprising amount of damage sometimes. Sometimes she has a surprising amount of healing. She's very versatile when I'm not playing her. So this week I finally picked her up. Spent my 2,000 gold. I'd nowhere invested what Garen did this week. He's the real champion. I spent my lowly 2,000 in order to participate in this week's Snoobs. But you know what? I like her, and she's overtaken Uther. Uther, definitely my secondary. I think Lily's taken that. I think she may even overtake.
No, you're good at Uther, and I'm burnt out on playing him.
I know. I'm getting really good at. I'm good at managing, 8 buttons or whatever it gets up to. But man, Lily, like every talent is a tough decision. They all kind of gel together. Even if you sort of meander through them, you feel like you have a good build when it's all over. And if you need to do damage, she's really good at it. I mean, in the games I played and I went a wins build, I managed to be top damage for the majority of the game until that, late game kind of takes over and the assassins rocket forward.
Cool, man. Yeah, we talked about her damage build a while ago, but you weren't a Lily player, so you didn't really have hands-on experience with it, and it works. Like, you can go a Serpent build, and it's ridiculous, the damage that you can output.
Well, that's certainly the most popular one right now. We don't... there was a glitch a bug, about 3 weeks ago, where Lily's Serpent would do a bouncing attack, and every single bounce was healing full. So Lily skyrocketed in popularity briefly for about 5 days. Then they ended up fixing it. So the top build right now is still listed as that very same Serpent build. It's great. Like, Serpents pump out a surprising amount of health, but you do need to, end up taking cups in order to save lives in that case. I also tried out the other popular builds. There's the Support Forever build, which is just, getting your Conjurer's Pursuit, getting Healing Ward, then just investing everything into the cups all the way up until, Kung Fu Hustle, which just seems to be the most popular level 20. Whenever that's active, your abilities recharge 3 times as fast. This is why when you're wailing on a level 20 Lily, nothing's happening, because everything's recharging so fast. But I think I fell in love most with the wins build. You have to make a level 1 decision to make it happen, but level 1, 50% increased damage on Blinding Wind. Blinding Wind, man. I was soloing against Rainers, like, just because they're any auto attack guy. I have my spell guys. I got Uther. Someone picks a Kale. Okay, like, we have an Illidan. Great. Uther. Need that Divine Shield. Block some Pyroblast. Gonna feel like a badass. Malfurion. Great for big health dudes. Against spell builds even. But Lily is definitely my go-to pick now when I'm seeing a lot of auto attack on the enemy team.
Yeah, she's really good, man, and she's fun. I like Lily a lot. So you're gonna be sticking with her?
Yeah, I think I'll be playing her a lot more than I thought I was gonna be. She's not sporting any cool skins for me, nothing disgusting. I need infested Lily. It'd be absolutely horrifying, but please make it happen.
Awesome. Well, sweet, man. And again, folks, you can see all the builds that we've been using with these heroes that we're new to in the show notes. amove.tv/ITN. Let's round this out with some emails.
Darkness stopped calling.
Does anyone else hear that buzzing?
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. Our first today comes to us from Ben from England, and he writes, "Hey folks, just wanted to tell you about an experience I had in the game last week. Since I got into the heroes in late alpha, I've always stayed clear of playing Falstad. I've never been impressed when playing with or against him. Last week, while he was free to play, I thought, to hell with it. I'll get him to 5, get my 500, and never play him again. Let me tell you, Falstad is amazing. I played him all week, got him to 10, and bought him and blew the 10k I had saved on his master skin. The only game I didn't get to play him in Hero League because the other team picked him. I was so angry, I grabbed Tyrande, and then I spent the entire game hunting down their Falstad and killing him." Have you guys ever had your opinions completely changed on a hero by getting them in a free-to-play week? Thanks for the great show. Yeah. This week with Murky, not that it was his free-to-play week. I bought him and found out I really enjoy playing him. And Lily, I tried on a free-to-play week, really enjoyed her and ended up buying her.
Tyrael would be mine. In fact, I tried him a lot when the game first came out just because he's cool. You're hitting people with swords. Always awesome to be doing that, but kind of like finding your old Pokemon decks. Now that I tried Tyrael again this week, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, you're looking at all these cards and you're like, who 5-year-old Kyle put this in there? Like, what an asshole. It's a horrible card. Doesn't even make a good deck. What are you thinking? And then I find the box in my parents' house, and I'm like starting to go through it and like fix my old decks. I'm like, hang on a sec, who am I gonna play these against? No one's gonna want to play me in 13-year-old Pokemon cards. Let me put these away real quick. But I did end up trying Tyrael again, and something mentally like clicked in me this week, and I got really good at Righteousness, casting his shield and actually being by my friends. I guess it was because I had an Illidan, so I was constantly thinking, oh, I got to be near Illidan so that when I cast Righteousness, he gets a shield too. And it just worked. I went Battle Momentum and Judgment, man. Just for the light, like bowling people down. And as long as I keep auto-attacking, it's got half the cooldown. It was so cool. Just 180 on that guy. 360.
I need to get back and try him. I never really gave Tyrael a good chance, and he's one of my favorite characters from like as far as Blizzard heroes in general. So I need to get back and try him. But no, you're not alone, Ben. And I need to try Falstad. I don't think I've ever played him because he just doesn't look like something I would enjoy. But I should totally give Falstad a try. So, and his master skin just looks dope.
It does with the mohawks and all. Yeah, and the armored griffin. It's pretty cool. I do get nervous when I see Falstads. We have a close friend who plays a lot of Falstad, and it makes me nervous as heck.
He does a lot of damage.
He does. And it's one of those heroes, much like an Illidan, where you can quickly lose perspective on where you are in the game. I mean, sometimes you're using that barrel roll to chase people and you're destroying everybody. Another game, you use barrel roll wrong once and you're dead for the game. Everyone's hunting you down. Nobody likes your face. I see a lot of, poor placement on people's fly-ins, being overly aggressive, and then, not aggressive enough. I think he's a very difficult hero.
Yeah. Our second email this week comes to us from Christian, who says, hey guys, I started Heroes during the open beta a few weeks ago and I'm having a blast. This is my first MOBA experience, so I was a little bit intimidated, but I have dug into the ITN archives and they have been an invaluable resource.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for all the fine work, as it is clear you have to walk a fine line between hardcore and listeners and noobs like myself. I have a few questions. One, as he suggested, I joined the AMOV TV chat stream. By the way, everyone, you can join it by doing /join space AMOVETV. Type that into your lobby and you will join the AMOV TV chat. Christian said, I often see people looking for games, which is great, but I don't really know what to do next. Do I friend that person to team up? I know this is incredibly basic, but I can't find an answer. You talk.
Yeah. You hit / whatever the number is for that chat, and then you say aloud to everybody, I want to play.
Yeah.
And they'll invite you.
Yeah, say to that person, hey, even if you want to, preface it with, hey, I'm new. Let's do this. I see a lot of people, doing bot games, so it's not like we're against new players. So I'm sure you're going to find a lot of friendly, like-minded individuals in there. So
I see a lot of people doing, hi, I'm new, Asmodan, looking for group, LF. Yeah. And lots of WoW abbreviations in there, but that's understandable.
Oh, we all came from WoW, man. We all came from WoW. So, yeah, just talk. He also said, 2, as a support during the early game, whom should I work with? Warriors, assassins, or specialists? I am leaning towards supporting assassins because they are squishy and the extra health sometimes enables an early kill. Alternatively, should I roam lane to lane and try to throw some health to all my teammates? Thanks again. I think sticking with the assassins isn't a terrible idea if you're new to supporting.
Not at all. I mean, there's a couple assassins that can generate their own health, like Raynor. He's got a great heal spell, so you don't really need to help him out. He's a great solo lane. When I see ETCs as opposed to other tanks, I think, he's got an early game heal. I don't really need to be in that particular lane. He'd succeed more with an assassin. It's really just learning the individual heroes. If I see a Diablo going by himself, there's a man who can't regenerate any health, who probably needs a stun, a root, or something like that to get the business done. Let's go with him. You should not roam. It's very tempting. And if you do it in a game, check your XP at the end. It is going to be dramatically lower.
Absolutely. And if you are playing a support, chances are you went Conjurer's Pursuit. So not being in lane means you're not getting orbs, which means you're not getting any bump to your mana.
You can sometimes eke it out. You can really kind of feel maybe this, I'm bottom lane, we're pushing really heavily, we're up against the wall, I'm not getting any more orbs here. Mid's being out pushed though. I'll go up there, push that back, and get some more orbs on top of that.
Absolutely.
But that's really, yeah, the only time you want to be switching lanes.
Yeah. And unless you consider joining a team fight, switching lanes, definitely join the team fight.
You're pretty safe to stay in your first lane until the first objective pops.
Yep, absolutely. So in short, learn the heroes that have self heals. Leave them alone. They can fend for themselves. And go with the guys that'll probably need the help.
Honestly, it's not the worst position to be a solo support lane because you get to be really aggressive. All your heals are just for you, and you can be the biggest jackass you want to be in the world and get those orbs.
Don't be too big of a jackass.
Well, sure, yeah. Don't walk in range of the tower, sure. Like, let's...
Yeah, if you're Uther, just, those cooldowns are really long, so be careful.
Why are they ever?
Anyways, Christian, good luck to you, man. We need more good supports in the game, so good on you. Keep playing support. That's going to do it for this week's episode. As always, thanks to our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN for supporting the show. Thank you, guys. Thanks to those of you who are leaving us reviews in the iTunes store. If you like the show and want to help us out, go drop us a 5-star review in the iTunes store. Helps the show out quite a bit. Thanks this week to Runnerman117. Thanks to Logan W., who says, I don't even play this game. And thanks to GJBG, who said that we are the perfect combo.
Aw.
Aw. Thank you, DJ. Kind words.
Logan, play the game, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, this is fun, man. It's fun and free. Get in here.
Are you doing some sort of isolation chamber thing where you're just sitting with your eyes closed and you're like, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I mean, to quote Chris Hardwick.
This is the future of sports. I would watch sports if this was all sports, you guys.
This is the future of sports.
Yeah. The future is now. It's Lawnmower Man.
and don't go blue again.
No, he's gone blue again.
I love these. Makes me happy. Anyways, Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and Declan H, our Patreon producer. You can see more about this and all of the other shows we do at amove.tv. Our email is itncast@gmail.com, or you can go over to the subreddit to continue conversing about today's episode over at itncast@reddit.com. Our live show is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv. Follow the channel and get an alert when we go live. We're also over at alphageekradio.com for the audio-only live stream. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast, and big thanks to BrianGriffithMusic.com for our intro song. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Kyle Ferguson on Twitter. Follow me there to find out when I'm doing solo Q&A, the new stream. Streaming Heroes Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. This past week, I took requests off of Twitter and ended up playing some quick match, so I could actually play the heroes I got requested, rather than getting in Heroes League and saying, no, you have to go support, and then, well, the request wouldn't have worked out anyway. So we did quick match this week. It was a very cool episode. Check it out over on the YouTube. VOD is up there, as well as on the main AMove TV site. Check out KyleFerguson.com, where I put up my Dungeons & Dragons articles. New article up this week about adapting your story to your player base.
Sweet. Check me out on Twitter at Garrett Art. I can be found also on nomoonart.com. That's my graphic design portfolio, where you can contact me if you're looking for a freelance designer. And on the Angry Chicken, talking about Hearthstone, which I am always doing. And there's going to be a lot to talk about this week, so tune in to next week's episode.
Oh, yeah, they're doing all those heroes, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. And Tavern Brawl.
Oh, yes. Tavern Brawl.
Yep. Anyways, just because we aren't running ads at the top of the show doesn't mean these codes are any less awesome. Use the code ITN over at doghousesystems.com to get a free 120 gigabyte solid state drive added onto your amazing gaming PC. I have one. It also has a solid state drive in it, and it is crazy. I love it. Love it, man. I'm playing so much Witcher on this thing.
Oh, you still going with that?
Dude, this game is ridiculous.
That huge, man.
It's absurd. And unlike Dragon Age, I actually want to do all the side stuff.
You don't want to build a tower to protect the civilians? Yeah, man. Dragon Age was a big grind.
I never beat Inquisition. There was just like I couldn't suss out the crap from stuff I actually wanted to see, and then I just got burnt out and walked away for too long.
Oh, the bad guy was so cool, though.
I'll get back to it one day. One day. I'll just need to mainline the main story. Also, tweakedaudio.com. Use the code ITN to get 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds. Check them out. Love those earbuds. tweakedaudio.com. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week for episode 55 of Into the Nexus. And patrons, we'll see you after the show for the after show game. But until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.
This is the future of sports!
Nice.